Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television. A reminder of our major stories. Low turnout of voters in the governorship and House of Assembly elections, but it's adjudged to be a peaceful exercise nationwide. 7 people reportedly killed in the elections across Nigeria, reports the Situation Room. President Muhammadu Buhari, candidates and other leaders cast their vote. And 44 police officers involved in a motor accident on the outskirts of the FCT, some seriously injured. ChannelsTV.com has some more information for you, and go to youtube.com/channelsweb to view our videos. Watch us on your mobile device via your browser, or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. And besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an eyewitness feature, so use it to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. While voters' turnout was said to be low in Jigawa State, in Kano State it was quite impressive, save for some polling units where voters complained of unstamped ballot papers, which raised fears that they might just be voter apathies and their vote may not count.
As early as 8 a.m., voting was in progress in Disul Ward in Gwale local government area of Kano State, much like in the other 43 local government areas of the state where voters came out en masse to cast their ballot. Unavailability of stamps caused some delay in Tudun Wuzuluchi in Kano Municipal, but it didn't take long before it was sorted out. It was a dramatic scene at Gida Seriki Ward, where a man with a PVC belonging to someone else tried to vote, but after several failed attempts at 2 polling booths, he was forced out of the premises. The process was mostly peaceful across the state, and for many of the voters, their expectations are that whoever becomes the next governor pays attention to infrastructure and social amenities.
We need a person that gives free education, good road, water supply and electricity.
I expect this present administration, if elected, please to consider this issue, because the water sanitation is a major problem. Security issue is also a problem, and from the nearest looking, the way and the manner the security agency are trying their best to rescue the situation.
Low voter turnout is the case in neighboring Jigawa State, as voters cast their ballots for their preferred candidates for the governorship and House of Assembly elections. Despite little or no security presence, voters carried out their civic duties peacefully. With voting over and results expected in no distant time, the biggest expectation is that the outcome will not only be credible, but will also be acceptable by all politicians and their supporters.
Meanwhile, the Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi, has commended the conduct of the election so far, and he says the calm atmosphere shows that Nigeria's political culture is growing. He spoke with journalists shortly after voting in Kano.
It is important for people to exercise this right, for them to choose their leaders and representatives, and for them to hold them to account after every 4 years. So we come out to encourage Nigerians to vote. All the reports we've been having across Kano today suggest that voting is going on peacefully, and we call on INEC, security agencies, politicians to ensure that everyone is law-abiding and the Electoral Act is complied with fully.
From Kano, let's move to Katsina State, where the president and his wife are some of the early voters at their polling unit in Daura. On the fears of possible violence during the elections, President Muhammadu Buhari says he's leaving it to the security agencies to deal with. Our correspondent, Ibrahim Adra, has this report.
President Muhammadu Buhari and wife Aisha arrived his polling unit at 8 a.m. and proceeded to cast their ballots. Voting over, he responds to fears of possible violence across the country during or after the elections.
I will leave it to the law enforcement agencies, especially the police, because they have been meeting virtually on 48-hour basis to make sure they have identified the flash points, as you mentioned, wherever they are, and make arrangements that they counter it. That's all I can say.
President Buhari says he is not surprised that the People's Democratic Party candidate Atiku Abubakar is challenging his victory at the February 23 election.
I expect it to happen.
He immediately returns home, leaving other Nigerians to exercise their civic duties. Observers are happy with the process.
Everything was well conducted by the INEC, and what we observed so far is everything has been credible.
The Katsina State Resident Electoral Commissioner entertains no fears concerning security of his officials and the process in the state.
You know, we have a structure that is at national, state, and local government levels, the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. That committee has looked at through our issues, through the problem areas. Specifically, we know even the polling units and the wards that affected this. And the security personnel had worked out what to do there.
Well, just like it was during the February 23 presidential election, the process here is going on smoothly without any hitch so far. But what is very apparent is that the turnout is much lower than it was during the presidential election. Well, that is not to say that people might not come out later, but about this time on the February 23, the turnout was much larger. From Daura, Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
In Lagos State, the Vice President, Professor Emir of Kano, and his wife also joined other Nigerians at their Victoria Garden City polling unit. Professor Osinbajo asked Nigerians to work with the present administration in order to move the country forward.
One thing I'd like very, very much is for all of us to work together towards building a great country. I think we have all of what it takes to make this country truly great. And for me, the greatest gift would be all of us working together across tribes, across faiths, across, the entire nation coming together to work with President Buhari and the government to achieve the very best we can.
The elections in Rivers State was seen by many as generally peaceful, as the shooting that greeted the last presidential and National Assembly elections were absent. But there were few reports of hijacking of electoral materials in some areas as collation of results begins in the state. Our correspondent Emmanuel Ire has the rest of the story.
It is after 8 a.m. at the Rack Center in Township School in Port Harcourt, local government area. And it appears it is going to be a long day. Voting is on, but the turnout of voters appears less than desirable.
The election here in this environment where I am now is peaceful. There is no quarrel, no nothing, and I just voted and I'm about to leave now.
But some electoral officers have to wait as they call on voters to show up. Unit 7 Ward 9 in Rumi Precom, the state governor, in company of his wife, step up to perform their civic duties.
It's okay. We are hoping that it will continue to be like this. You know that in the Nigerian electoral process, sometimes the voting will go on very smoothly. It's at the collection center where we are being very watchful and very, very careful.
Other parts of Obiakpo local government area see some turnout of voters as everything seems peaceful. Some will rather choose to get busy with other things, though.
Just after 3 buildings from here, at this money market, Roma's money market here, you see 6 military men. They are on checking point. So, people remembering what happened, like I said 2 weeks ago, people are scared.
There was a large turnout of voters in Obima, in the Ikwere local government area. The Minister of Transportation cast his vote.
This is the second election. The first one there was violence, but nobody died. This is the second election where nobody has died. If not, in every election we have had in River State, 15, 20, 30 died. But this one, because of the presence of military, the militants have withdrawn, and they are allowing us to vote.
Many believe that the collation of results is the heart of the elections. And as the process continues across the state, some are already pointing accusing fingers, raising allegations of interception and hijack of results and materials. But the electoral body is expected to have the final say. Emmanuel Erei, Channels Television News.
Coming up after the break, reports from Benue does not seem to be as peaceful as 2 people died during the exercise. We'll give you details of that and other stories. Join us again.